Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the Triple Q podcast. I am your host, Alan, and today the only person joining me is.
Vin, although this is kind of Dual Q podcast now. Thanks,
Yep.
Harris.
We're starting our podcast a bit early today. If you are watching the live recording, then you know it is right now, currently 10:26 a.m. on Saturday. But we'll go on regardless, since we did promise a league-filled episode last time, and that is exactly what we are going to do today. So last week we said that we are going to cover the World Group Draws, and with 5 days left, I think this is an appropriate time to discuss what we think of these groups. So when the group draws happened, I think it was 2 Saturdays ago now. We basically made notes of our reactions to the groups, or not the groups, the group draws, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. A bit first off, the group draws itself. There are some rules that they had. So, in order for the group draws to properly be sorted out, no group can have more than one team from the same region. Each group must have one team from Pool 1, 2 teams from Pool 2, and 1 team from Pool 3. And then teams placed in the next available group unless it creates an invalid draw sometime in the future. So, like, unless it conflicts with Rule 1 and Rule 2. And then they had a couple of old dogs picking up the groups. They had TPM Mistake, Captain Jack, Worldly Wei Zhao, and Skara doing the groups for Pool 1, Pool 2, and Pool 3.
Aren't they all retired?
Yeah. They're all retired. So, I had a couple notes just for like quick reactions that I made. So basically, Group D just ended up being the group of death again. And then Group A is the group that had the 2 seeds, the 2 first seeds, I mean, and that's because Europe didn't get the first seed when G2 got their vacation earlier this year. There's also just funny reactions that you can watch of teams reacting to their pools. Some come to mind are Ryu. They just had a solo reaction of just Ryu via webcam. It's pretty funny. AHQ's reaction was pretty funny as well. They also had the Rocks reaction to their group. Also, there's also the analysis someone made on subreddit, basically saying the chances, or they analyzed the chances each team would face each other, and there was a 25% chance that SKT and C9 would be in the same groups, and that actually happened. So that is pretty exciting. And also, in terms of general predictions, for me at least, I think only one group has clear winners for who would be the first and second seed coming out of groups, at least in my opinion.
I argue Group B has clear winners. But
Okay.
that's my argument, anyways.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the more closer focus on the groups. So Group A. All right. I'm gonna list out the groups in Group A. So Rocks Tigers, first one to go in the Pool 1, and then G2 Esports, first one from the Pool 2. At the same time, CLG was moved to Pool A because TSM was in Pool. Oh no, CLG was just moved to Pool A. Group A. There was no rule change about that, I don't think. And then Albus Nox Luna for the pool 3.
Literally, the
So,
4 teams, the way you listed it, is the way how I have my predictions for my picks.
yeah. I think for my predictions as well, um, I have that. We'll go into more detail on our predictions later, but we're just gonna analyze the groups as a whole right now. Um, so I have here, I basically listed them off in terms of lanes. So basically, in this pool, it's gonna be Smeb versus Darshan, Expect, and Smurf. Like Smeb is gonna be a big point of contention throughout these games. Clearly, like the best, if not, one of the best, if not the best, players in the world right now. Um, and I don't know if Darshan, Expect, and Smurf will be able to match Smeb's play in the top lane.
I mean, if they can, it just shows how much strength there is in the top lane nowadays. Where right now I'm just thinking, who the hell is best top lane right now? So if they can show their strength against Smeb, that would give me a more clear answer about who the best top lane is.
Yeah. Also keep in mind that we are on 6.18, so there is a lot more chance for carry top lane as well. So you have Darshan maybe coming back uh, into his sort of original role when he first moved to top lane, being that carry top lane. Expect pretty good as well. Not too sure about Smurf from what I saw of the international wildcard qualifier, but Smeb is very versatile, and I don't think, um, at least in the top lane, I don't think that's where the other teams will get their advantage facing against Rocks.
Probably not. No.
Yeah. So moving on, being such an ADC heavy worlds this year, I'm gonna move on to the bot lane. So Sven and Mithy, um, versus Praying Gorilla being like the main point of contention, and then there's also Afromu and Stixay, and then you also have Liquid with, I forget who the
A miracle.
Miracle. Yeah, there you go. So I think I remember why I listed Liquid here, because basically in Albus Nox Luna, Liquid is one of their carry potentials. Liquid just does a really good job compared to the rest of his team in terms of playmaking in his role. And then now we move on to Sven and Mithy, which I think just gave G2 their resurgence, being such a dominant bot lane. And their move from OG just like solidified how good of a bot lane they are, just adding to this sort of big powerhouse of a team now. And then for Praying Gorilla, they're just a really solid bot lane as well, as same as Afromu and Stixay. Afromu being that playmaker as well, and Gorilla being the sort of, I think he set a certain standard for supports, at least in the not engaged supports, but more supportive supports. If you know what I'm talking about here. And then Prey is just really, really solid. Stixay has its off and on moments, but I think for this group at least, Sven and Mithy win the bot lane, or should win the bot lane just based off of their prowess.
See, this patch kind of confuses me because if we're talking about the last patch, Sven is very strong with his Lucian, his Ez, but I'm not quite sure how he is on the hard carries such as Cog and Jinx. I know Prey plays a bit of Twitch, but his Jinx isn't too much to be looking at. His Kog'Maw play was pretty good, but the Kog'Maw playstyle has changed a bit since the Jugger Cognut or whatever we call it, Juggerma. I think it was a term.
Juggernaut, yep.
But so the playstyle changed a bit. Stixay, I believe he has played a lot of carry ADCs back in the Challenger series. Not too
Yeah,
much. I don't know about Albus Nox Luna.
if we talk about like the current sort of meta that we're gonna go into, I think from what we've seen so far, Stixay has had the most success on hard carry roles. If you remember Summer Split, that's where he's like popping off on these sort of late game carry roles, especially Tristana. But in terms of Jinx, I think I remember seeing Sven play a bit of Jinx. He is more of the what would you say? He is better for the more mobile caster, almost ADCs. But I think Sven is at a level where he can easily play the rest as well. And Prey has played, like you said, the late game role as well. But in terms of just ability, I still think Sven and Mithi take the cake for this one, at least in bot lane. Moving on now to jungle. So we have Trick and Peanut basically facing off, being the two dominant junglers in this group. We also have PvP Stehos for Albastox Luna, but from what I saw, he didn't really make a presence, so I didn't really list him. Now, CLG's hope here is that Xmithie, with his recent coining of the neutralizer, being able to neutralize the really good junglers, at least in NA, because they haven't played in, or even in MSI, he did a really good job of being the solid role in CLG, of being able to neutralize a lot of the jungle presence. And I think if CLG wants to make it out of groups, Xmithie has to do a really good job of doing that against Trick and Peanut, who are pretty good junglers in my opinion.
Probably the two most aggressive ones too.
Yeah,
Because
that's the other thing.
uh, Peanut's
Yeah, it's
literally a battle
just
lord.
yeah, same for Trick, just because of how much or how frequent he tries to go into enemy jungle, as well as just gank for his lanes, get them ahead. Yeah, like you said, these are the two of the most aggressive junglers that we've seen out of China. But then the Chinese playstyle just sort of forces that. Um, but yeah, like Xmithie, he was called the neutralizer because he's able to basically cancel out Svenskeren, Reignover, um, basically, and even like Dardoch, like those junglers, right? Like I guess you could say, when compared to Xmithie, they are more skilled and they seem to do a lot more for the team. But when something just happens when Xmithie plays on COG, that's why he's called the neutralizer, where the jungle pressure just basically, okay, we'll just wait until like mid game, and then that's when you actually see the junglers do much. It's kind of funny to actually see. And lastly, we will go to the mid lane with Kira, Kuro, Huhi, and Perks. Who would you give the advantage to in this group?
Asking the tough questions though. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, because Kuro hasn't been the star of Rocks. He's just been consistent. Uhi, same thing. I don't think he's ever been the star of CLG. Kira, I don't have enough knowledge about him to really talk about too much. And Perks has always been a very solid player too. Three of these players have just been solid. I don't think they've ever been like the key stars for them to win.
So the slight edge goes to Perks, is what you're saying.
I guess so, because I guess Perks has the most carry potential out of the four over here. Because the other, the other three, well, except for one, because I don't know about Kier. The other two is just I've never seen them as like, holy shit, they're the stars of this team. They're just gonna hard carry this game.
All right.
I only see them as the most like the rock, the consistent ones.
Yeah, that's basically what I was thinking as well. Just because a lot of G2 play, even in the summer, revolved just around Perks and Trick, because that duo is just so good in terms of what they do, and they both have their star and carry potential. You don't see that as much now because it actually splits around um, with Sven and Mithi and Trick and Perks carrying games. But with Kira, I don't know how many people remember this, but basically, Kira competed at the 2015 All Stars, and Yeah, 2015 All Stars. When he qualified at the International Wildcard All Stars, so he basically made it and represented Wildcard, or at least his region as well. He used to be on Hard Random back then, and there was a lot of hype around um, what's it called? There was a lot of hype around Kira just because he was famed as this new mid laner that no one really knew about, but everyone sort of knew he was good. He actually took second in the 1v1. Was it the 1v1 assassin mode, if I recall correctly?
I'm pretty sure it was the assassin where Kira was playing it.
Yeah, so the 1v1 assassin mode. Um, can't remember who he was facing though in that match. Um,
I can come back to you on that one.
yeah. But basically, yeah, he was able to just show his prowess just facing off as like, I mean, if you're gonna make it like second place around like the All Stars, people that voted in and like recognized as the best players of that time. So yeah, like he can I think he can fight it with the rest if he has kept his skill or even gotten better since his time on stage. So we'll do our full like group predictions later. Um, but yeah, we can talk about that as well. Um, next group we have is Group B, and in Group B, the teams set are excuse me. The teams set are Flash Wolves, SKT, IMA, and Cloud9. So this is an interesting group because, like I said, this is the 25% of SKT versus C9. And so we have the Flash Wolves as the first seed, SKT being second because they didn't win Summers. And then you have IMA from China and Cloud9. So here's our first Chinese team, but this is the Chinese team being the third seed for China, as well as IMA is basically EDG Red. I don't know, like the sister team of EDG, but not really. And then you have Cloud9 making it through the gauntlet and representing NA here. So I am speaking of Cloud9. My first point here is back to top lane. Is Impact gonna body Duke, Amazing J, and MMD in the top lane?
Depends if he keeps his form. And if Duke keeps his
Non-form.
Dookie form, then yes. So if Impact keeps his form, I think he could actually be the very point of contention over these teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just from like seeing how Duke's been playing and just like, okay, all right, this is what happens when Marin leaves. I get it. Amazing J, um, he is a well-known Chinese player. Um, not really sure how his performance has been of late. Can't really remember, but he has been known to be to carry some games. And MMD from the Flash Wolves, we'll see. There's a funny reaction of basically uh, the Flash Wolves reaction of the picks, and then there's a clip of just MMD realizing it's like an edit, but like MMD's face realizing he has to face against Duke, Amazing J, and Impact is just pretty funny because MMD's not really known for being the star at for the Flash Wolves, so just really funny reaction seeing that because you can see the player like it's like slowly realizing it's like wait, okay, I gotta face these guys now. So next point, we have the bot lane again. So we have Bang and Wolf versus Sneaky and Smoothie, and then there's NL and Sword Art, and then Jinjiao and Road. Do you have any notes for this um, duo fiesta down here?
I just hope that a month of SK without seeing SKT will just resurge them and Banging Wolf can be the dominant presence again. But we are going to the Jinx meta again, and NL has shown in previous worlds that he is a very dangerous Jinx. So that is something to look out for. Sneaky, he's always been a consistent one, no matter what meta. So I'm not worried about him. And Jin Zhao and Road, don't know too much about them, so can't really say anything about them.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone's basically waiting for SKD to come back, just because from what we saw in the last split, it's just like, okay, yeah. Like, technically, everyone's still viewing them as a world contender, but I think compared to the previous worlds that they've won, this may be the weakest they've looked, at least going in.
Well, it is an even year.
The curse lives
The
on.
curse.
And yeah, in terms of hard carry, I think this is the meta for NL to finally show off what he's made of. Um, they just haven't been doing. I mean, they won the region LMS, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to see compare what they were like over a month ago to now, especially with the meta going back in favor of NL, like you said. Um, yeah, and Jinjiao and Road, I think they're just like a solid duo for Aime. I can't remember if they were the stars or not from the games that I watched, but they aren't. I don't think, at least, the weak link. Actually, Aime doesn't really have as much weak links. It's just they are the um almost EDG sister team. So if you have like the EDGA, they're basically EDG maybe B. So we'll see what we can expect from them. Moving on, I have another note here of bodying, and that is, will Jensen be able to body Faker this year? And we have Maple and Athena as well.
This always goes back to this is gonna be a broken record because it's always gonna be can SKT change? Because Faker has been throwing a lot of games before the break, so maybe I can't really give a definite answer because who knows what the heck SKT's been doing for a month? Maybe Koma pulled out the belt. Maybe they went on a vacation. Who knows?
More like pull out the Play-Doh and, and markers or whatever they were doing with that.
Uh, and Maple and Athena. Athena. I don't know if
That's
he's ever
him.
been the star.
No, he's basically the Rock, almost like the sneaky of the team. He's like, all right, I'm gonna play solid. I'm gonna let a Voidless do his job, maybe gank my lane a bit, and Athena just plays his role basically. Maple um, has been the point of where the Flash Wolves have won sometimes, especially with Karsa. So I think in this game, a lot of the work for the games as well is not only top lane, but also the mid and jungle duos. So I'm gonna switch it up a bit. So we have Jensen and Meteos, Faker and Blank, Maple and Karsa, and Athena and Voidless. I think out of these four, I think Maple and Karsa are the stronger duo. Not sure about Jensen and Meteos. Faker and Blank, what would you say about those two?
Blank. If
They're
he fixes his stage fright issues, I guess, is what he's said to have,
the land
he
jitters.
can be a better player. But then again, like I said, 1 month without seeing SKT could be really scary.
Yep. Also, yeah, stage fright or like land jitters as well. Uh, if Meteos can get rid of his tilt, like we saw in the finals, which I think he did, is coming into the gauntlet. Um, I didn't see as much tilt there, but if Meteos can do his early game play, maybe bring out the Zac again and do stuff like that, even get Jensen ahead, I think C9 may have a good chance of actually coming out of this group. But we'll talk about the predictions later. Next topic, Group C. So we both talked about how, or actually, I said Group C had the clear favorites of getting out. And by that I mean like in terms of being able to predict who's actually going to come out. So in Group C, we have EDG from LPL, their summer split champions. AHQ Esports, the second seed from LMS. H2K Gaming, the second seed for EU. And INTZ Esports representing Brazil. So once again, Brazil makes it back to the world stage. And I think it was pretty clear that they would be the ones to represent again, just because they've done so almost every year that they're able to. One thing that worries me, just a quick note on INTZ, is that they did go through or go to a full 5 games in the finals for international wildcard tournament. So maybe they're not as strong, or maybe international wildcard is just getting stronger. I mean, they did face Dark Passage, and Dark Passage is a team that has been on the world stage as well, but we'll see. Moving on into the analysis of the groups itself. So we have Scout. I have here Scout versus Westdoor, Ryu, and Talkers. So would you agree that EDG's mid laner is maybe a cut over the rest in this sense?
Westar could still be a threat, especially since what he's been showing. Maybe he's not all old bones and needs to retire just yet. But he is kind of inconsistent with that. You can't really bank on him being the most consistent, but he can pull out the carry when he needs to in some games.
Mm-hmm.
But Scout is the most safe choice here with the mid
Yep.
lanes.
I also forgot to mention. I'm gonna put Westdoor / Chowie if HQ chooses to use Chowie. But even then, I still think Scout is the more reliable, like you said, and stronger mid laner compared to the rest of these. You have Westdoor. If Westdoor comes out on his best days during groups, then I give it to Westdoor, no doubt. But in terms of reliability, definitely Scout. Ryu is also reliable. He's been sort of the rock for H2K as well, and from what I see from Talkers, he can play really well, but I don't know how well against world caliber players such as these. Next, moving on into, I'm gonna change it up a bit. I'm gonna go to the top lane and then jungle. So right now for top lane we have Ziv, and then Mouse, Odoamne, and Yang. So I think this role in this group is the role in the game with the largest amount for just surprise, because these 4 players, I think any of them can win at this point, at least in this group. Maybe Mouse given the edge.
I actually don't know who to give the edge to.
Yeah, just from like seeing their play, Ziv isn't playing as well currently. Odoamne did carry a lot of games for H2K, especially on his Echo. I think the match was against. I'm gonna have
Fnatic.
to. Oh yeah, Fnatic. Yeah, he was basically just hard carrying, going usually you see Odo Wamne in a role that basically, all right, I'm gonna tank for the team. I'm going to just do my job and be the solid like backbone for this team. But like in that game, he was popping off. So it's like, all right, Odo Wamne has carry potential. Um, Yang as well. They did play a lot of their plays around Yang in the top lane, and Mouse for EDG. I think you have the other stars in your game. If you're Mouse, you're basically like, all right, I'm just gonna play my solid game. I don't really need to worry about hard carrying as well. So same as me, no real edge given to any of these top laners.
I can't give an edge.
Yeah, I would have given it to Ziv, but his recent performance, maybe not so much. Now, moving into the junglers, I think this group of junglers is really interesting just because I think these are all really strong junglers and their aggressive playstyles like almost match, I guess. Aggressive and controlling in a sense. So we have Clear Love, Yankos, Revolta, and Mountain. What do you guys? What do you think about this group of junglers?
Hmm. It is also very hard to give who a edge to, but if I have to give an edge, it's either between Krillov or Mountain. If I had to choose one, but
Okay.
it's not to say that Yankos and Revolt are weak though. Like it's just the experience factor behind it. I think has a bit of weight into my decision making on who might just bring out the better jungler, especially for the first
Yeah.
few days.
Yeah, we're talking about just like clear. I don't want to say clear. Um, just straight up experience and already competing at the world stage for so long. I'd give it to Clear Love just because there can be a lot of just world nervousness. Just you're playing on such a big stage with such big risks. I mean, and rewards, and just like there's so much riding on these games, and I think Clear Love will just be able to hold it out and not tilt, especially like the history of this guy and how long he's been playing. I think he's just like the clear, the clear. I said clear again, but basically, he has the edge over these guys in terms of that as well.
Nice puns.
Thanks. Next, we have another really big group for ADCs. We have Deft versus Forgiven, and then we also have On and Macau. All right, I'm gonna throw it to you for Deft versus Forgiven because right now we don't care about On or Macau, just because there's clearly two top ADCs in this group. So who do you give it to, Deft or Forgiven?
I give it to Deft because this is his meta to thrive. The Jinx Cog. Oh gosh. I'm just shuddering with what the heck he can do with those two.
Welcome back, season 4 Deft.
Jinx snipes are another thing too. Ugh. So that's gotta be really scary to look. Especially in this meta, EDG might be one of the strongest buff team of this meta.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But not to harp on like Forgiven. I still think Forgiven, he's playing the world stage. I think he can come out winning a lot of these lanes, especially against On and Macau as well. Just from uh, just like I think mechanical prowess at least, if anything else.
We'll
All
have
right,
to see.
moving on to our last group, the group of death again. TSM getting the group of death again. So we have in this group Team Solo Mid, Royal Never Give Up RNG, Samsung, and my boys Splice. So, can you quickly give a rundown on why people have been calling this the group of death again?
Well, this is probably the most evenly matched up groups here. There's no, well, not to offend the international scene, but they've always been the weak links. So there's no international seed here. It's all been either first seeds, second seeds, or third seeds, and all
They're
coming from
yeah,
either EU, NA, KR, and China.
yeah. If you're even talking about just summer split in general, there are no third seeds here. It's just first and seconds.
Is it
Because Splice
Splice?
Splice is yeah, Splice was second
Oh, okay. Oh,
in
yeah.
summer. I guess you could call it Samsung. Yeah, if you just refer to it as summer, then Splice would technically be above Samsung because they play second, and Samsung had to go through Gauntlet.
Yep.
And Samsung wasn't even second in the summer split. They had to go through Gauntlet just based off their points, and Splice made it to Gauntlet because they placed second. So interesting stories here. We also have the first seed TSM and second seed RNG. So I have here, we'll start off in the top lane again. We got Looper, who has to deal with Kuve, Hanser, and Wonder. I think this is a pretty close top lane match, especially in the direction that we're going to for the world stage at 6.18. What do you think?
I think Kuve has some potential, especially with carry top laners. I've always given him a lot of flack because he's never impressed me when he first came into the scene. But he is making a lot of improvements into the world stage, or coming into the world stage. Hanser
Yes.
has been pretty good, especially in the finals. He's been pretty good there. Especially, and Wunder too. He's also been very good with the Gauntlet and the finals as well. So this is gonna be pretty difficult. I actually think Looper might be the weakest one out of four.
Ooh,
I
bold
might give like
prediction.
the bold prediction here. Looper might be the weakest out of the four here.
Yeah, in terms of just ramping up to the worlds, I think Kuve, Hunter, and Wonder, like you said, they've been sort of just going on the up and up, and then Looper's just been like, he's been there, and he might be even on the decline right now. Bold predictions. But Looper is solid, so we'll have to see the results of training since then. Um, but I think if we're talking about the carry potential, and not just in terms of being solid in top lane in their role, but carry potential, I give it to Kuve just because of how his play was in uh, regional qualifier, especially in the game between SSG and KT. He like popped off on his cannon in that game, in those games as well.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna we're gonna just skip the bot lane again because the bot lane has a lot of interesting matchups. We're gonna move on to the jungle right now. So you have Svenskeren, MLXG, Ambition, and Trashy. All right, I'm gonna give you like 2 seconds to think about it. Well, how would you rank these junglers in terms of just their recent performance?
Uh, that's kind of difficult. That's actually really difficult. um, I might have to go for another bold prediction. Give Sven probably the short end of the stick here.
Ooh, okay. So you give it to MLXG, Ambition, Trashy, Svenskeren, kind of like that.
I actually might give Ambition second lowest still. Oh man.
Oh, Trashy's moving up. No longer in his enemy days. His splice days have resurged his potential. I'm hearing.
I might just give MLXG and then Trashy, then Ambition, then Sven. But it's kind of difficult who to say the worst junglers are. That's kind of one
I
of
think
the hardest questions here.
it also has to do with the impact on the team. Um, with Ambition and Svenskeren, I don't think the jungler position for either of those teams is really the superstar role in those teams. They're sort of just a backbone that lets each of their laners do their thing and even carry the game off of their backs. Trashy has shown that he can carry some games, especially with his engages. They're really some of them are really clean, especially against their match their match against H2K. They play H2K, right? Wait, am I going crazy?
Are you going crazy?
I don't think so. Yeah. So they faced off against. All right, no, I
Yes,
just
they
gotta
did
double
face
check.
H2K. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So against H2K, which in my opinion was a really close game, but also that just shows Splice is able to play, at least in my opinion, best of fives now. Because technically, if you don't even count their, if you count their performance in Spring Split, you can almost count them as almost a challenger team at this point because they almost dropped to challenger scene, being almost relegated. So, and then coming back and placing second, that's a really strong feat. At the same time, you have MLXG, which does play a core of RNG's gameplay as well. So I think just in terms of their roles in their respective teams. Now I think we can move on into the bot lane. We have Doublelift and Biofrost, the Penguin bot lane. Uzi and Mata back again. Now we have Ruler and Core JJ, I think, is what they're going to be playing for Samsung. And we have Kabi and Mickey. So if you had the choice, right? Who would be the top two bot lanes in this, and then we can discuss those two.
Yes, I'm RNG.
All right, that's what I was saying too. Samsung's and Splice's bot lanes aren't bad. It's just that they aren't the carry potential. They're basically another one of those solid lanes where people can just like, all right, I'm gonna play my role, do my job, and we'll see what happens. But you do have star power in Doublelift and the Uzi matchup. What do you think about Biofrost versus Mata?
Ah, God damn, that's hard.
All right, I'll make it easier. So in terms of their role, right? So I would say since Biofrost isn't really doing the shot calling, we have Biofrost uh, with mechanical and lane presence, mechanical prowess and lane presence. And we also have Mata, basically the control tower of RNG and Uzi's handler. Who do you think will come out on top? Keep in mind that also this is Biofrost's rookie split, and he's at the world stage already. So
You see, playing the game alone is already hard. Micromanaging 4 other is very difficult. But I still give it to Mata.
all
Mainly
right,
because he hasn't played in a stage that big before. He did pretty well in the NLCS finals, but this is one step above that. Let's just hope he
uh,
doesn't choke.
I would go as far to say it's several steps above that. There's a lot more writing on worlds as well.
Yeah, that's probably fair to say.
Um, Doublelift and Uzi though, who has still kept his prowess from the first time they met in season 3 worlds?
I give it to Uzi. He's been
Uzi.
playing out of his mind recently.
And keep in mind also these two uh these two ADCs are are not foreign to the late game carry role.
Oop. Not at all.
These two can both thrive on Kog'Maw, Jinx, even Twitch. We've seen it all from these two.
He still had
And
like the
last,
Vayne
oh, you
rivalry.
think you think they're gonna bring out the Vayne in the current state of Vayne?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if both of them hovered over Vayne until 1 second.
Maybe Uzi. I think Double is way past Vayne. I think at this point, I think his, I think he's gonna revert back to Lucian if anything, not Vayne.
I don't know, man. This is going all the way back
I don't
when
know.
they first met.
Vayne's pretty bad, dude.
I know it is.
It's pretty bad. That's almost like Uzi picks Vayne as like I got this. Mata just smacks him like on camera. It's like, all right, you deserve that. Last but not least, we have Bjergsen bodying Xiaohu, Crown, and Senkux.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
Nope.
All
Bjergsen's
right, good.
probably gonna win that.
Goodbye, Xiaohu, Crown, and Senkux. Oh, okay. If Bjergsen is going to body those, do you think MLXG, Ambition, and Trashy are going to be focused more in the mid lane?
But I also think Sven's gonna focus with them to help Bjerg.
All right.
Especially with the Cloud9 series when Sven did help Bjerg. Bjerg just took the game after.
That is true. Are you talking about the Gragas game where they caught off?
Probably
Uh,
just the rest of the series or Meteos
yeah,
try it over and over.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Zac game. That was a lot of attempts after that first blood, and basically Bjergsen's like, all right, since Gary, you're not leaving my lane, and Spinner's like, all right, buddy. And then, yeah, they just shut down Meteos and Jensen in that game.
Bjerg's probably like, Sven, come over here. Sven's like, why? Don't you want 600 gold? And then that's why he stayed.
There you go. Yeah, I also have the couple notes for the teams here. Um, main thing with RNG stability. Uh, in terms of the teams here, I think RNG is the most unstable. Um, would you back that up? Just from like seeing what these teams can do.
Uh, yeah, I guess so, because Splice has been more consistent recently, and Samsung has been getting more and more consistent, and TSM is obviously shown being consistent as well. So
Yeah,
let's see if RNG can tilt out of the world or just carry out of the world.
there's some interviews and analysis with LPL casters and just people in the LPL scene in general. Just analyzing Uzi's move to RNG or like Uzi's move back to RNG because he left for a bit, I think. Changed the team the most because basically they play around Uzi a lot, and that sort of doesn't help their situation with like Looper. Because Ooper, I combined their names. Looper has been like a star for like his, or not really a star, but like he's been just that. If you could describe the reliable top laner, that'd be Looper. Going all the way back to his days on SSB as well. Um, and because of their Uzi focused gameplay now, you have MLXG focusing bot lane as well, and Looper's basically just left out to dry. So it used to be that Looper would get a lot of jungle support, and then Looper would just plow through the top lane from there. But because of Uzi's gameplay, that changed a lot. I also have a note here saying, uh, we know League of Legends is scripted and is an anime. If Splice ends up coming out on top and become like the greatest story from like lowest to like the top, all the way from EU relegations all the way to coming out of Group A as first seed. But we'll see about that.
I
All right.
mean, I predict Splice to be last in that group, so I don't believe in that anime.
Speaking of predictions, we can move on into our own predictions. So let me just pull up my world pick'em. All right,
Yeah, I
and
should
then
just send you guys on my world
we
pick'em right here.
can we can compare the two. All right, Group A. I think it's unanimous between the two of us. Uh, even though it's not really that unanimous because only two of us. But we have Rocks Tigers, G2 Esports, Kind of Logic Gaming, and Albus Nox Luna. Is that the same as you?
Yep.
Yep. Um, so for here, Rocks Tigers clearly like first seed. Something could happen. There could be some Korea slaying in this group, but I think Rocks Tigers have just shown that they have what it takes. G2 Esports as well with the resurgence with Sven and Mithy. CLG Bootcamp, no faith, Min.
No faith. I've never had faith with CLG anyways.
They did. And one interesting thing I saw from the boot camp is they did bring in Rain over to help with uh, their their boot camp. So that's interesting to see NA supporting NA. But yeah, I think I just put it on G2 having the edge with Sven and Mythia as well.
Or is it that Raidover's gonna take Xvidi's job next season? We'll never know until next season.
Yeah. Next, Group B. I put it as SK Telecom, Cloud9, Flash Wolves, and IMA.
Whoa, Cloud9 second.
Cloud9 second, yes, Cloud9 second.
Whoa.
I think Cloud9 can do it.
Whoa.
What do
That's
you have?
different from mine. I have Cloud9 last. Although I might
Really?
keep them third. I'm losing faith if I may, quite honestly. So I might swap them to third.
IMA is the tiltier little kid of EDG.
Yeah,
That's
that's what
that's
I'm
how I put it.
thinking. I'm just thinking this. I may actually deserve to be here.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. If anything, I wanted Snake to be on Worlds.
You know, I'm changing it. Cloud9's third.
So you
Anyways,
think
I
you,
have Flash Wolves second though.
you think Flash Wolves can pull it over for Cloud9?
Yeah, I think Flash Wolves is overall as a team just play better.
Okay. I have faith in the Cloud9 anti-tilt training, because right now, basically for me, the two that will change the most, or the two that will make the difference between second and third, is Jensen and Meteos. If those two can play at their best, I think Cloud9 will take second. Because Impact, I think from what we've seen, I'm just saying he's gonna be what Cloud9 needs to win, just games in general. But to actually make it to second seed, I think it's going to be uh the Jensen and Meteos duo. All right. Before we move on, I want to talk about SKT for a second. Basically, everyone's still putting SKT as a clear contender for making it out of groups, right? But what if SKT comes fourth?
That means Flash Wolves Cloud9 will take it then
All right,
in that order.
that's what I would put as well. Um, do you think there's a good possibility? Let's say by good, at least over 50%,
Of
that
SKT failing?
SKT coming in third or fourth.
Mm, I give a lower
Could,
percentage because
all right.
a month of boot camping. Oh, especially with Koma's coach. Oh man, I don't know if any of those players are still alive. Still, they all might be just dead inside.
Yeah, they all just turn into robots and then win worlds. There they go.
They
Good
don't even
training.
smile after they win worlds. That's how you
Yeah.
know they're dead inside.
I think if I'm gonna lose pick'ems this year, it's gonna be in Group B.
Or Group D.
Nah, I believe in Group D. All right. Before we go to Group D, we still have Group C. And from what I said at the top of the show, uh, I predicted Group C to be having the clear two winners, and I put that as EDG and AHQ,
Yep.
and H2K9TZ.
Yep.
One
Good job.
interesting thing though, in the caster predictions for the group draw, they predicted that H2K and HQ is basically dependent on what happens in the early game, and I think that it can be true, just based off of uh, Jankos's playstyle in the early game, as well as whether or not Westdoor comes into form, and maybe Ziv versus Aduamne as well. It's just like I think those two teams are really close together as well. But EDG definitely first.
Yep. But
But I also
uh,
give it the edge to HQ.
it's just the ADC meta that I'm most worried about for H2K.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's probably gonna give the slight edge over to HQ as well. And INTZ, uh, this is their experience. They came in for the experience. I don't think with their team or with their lineups they're gonna make it out unless they like legit pull off like miracles against EDG and AHQ. They're not bad, but I'm just saying they're not at the caliber of those two teams as well. Finally, Group of Death. I want to hear your predictions first. What is your predictions for Group D?
TSM, Samsung Galaxy, Royal Nivgov, and Spice.
Okay. Close, man. I have TSM, Samsung Galaxy, Splice, and then
And Royal
RNG.
Nivgov. So we just differ between third and fourth.
Yep. I believe in my boy Splice. And then I believe in the RNG tilt. It's happened before. I predict it's gonna happen again. Splice, they're coming in. They have nothing to lose. They made it to Worlds. I think they're gonna pop off. RNG's gonna. All right, Splice and RNG, they're gonna face off, and then RNG's gonna lose, and then RNG's gonna tilt off the face of the earth. They're like, how we lose against Splice? They were almost relegated last season. All right. Interesting though that I think before going into LCK regionals, even playoffs, would you have put Samsung Galaxy as coming this close?
No, because I expected KT, but then Samsung just bodied KT.
All right. Do you think there's gonna be any clear winners in any of these groups, or do you think it's gonna be really close scores in the round robin?
If there's going to be clear winners, it's probably just going to be Europe A, I guess, until G2 and Rocks face each other.
Okay. You don't think it's okay? Next question: is there gonna be any Korea Slayers this year?
Sure. SKT plays bad. I also think TSM can take out Samsung, so that's why I have Samsung second.
All right. Now going into quarters, if we go in with Rocks, G2, SKT, Cloud9, EDG, AHQ, and then TSM and Samsung, which games would you like to see in the quarters?
As an entertainment value or as a fanboy?
I mean, whatever makes you want to watch games more. I don't really care.
I mean, I'll watch every SKT game because I'm an SKT fanboy, but for entertainment value, wait, is there a specific way of how it works? Is it first
I
seed versus
think
second seed or?
yeah, it has to be a first seed versus a second seed.
God damn, that's boring.
So
Um,
the only game I do not want to see is C9 versus TSM. That's the only game I don't want to see in quarters. Because I've already seen that live. It was heartbreaking. I wanna see that maybe in the finals if they can make it that far, but I don't want to see TSM versus Cloud9. That's like worst case scenario.
what I want to see is Samsung versus Rocks,
I want to see that too. I was gonna say that.
because I don't think yeah, they haven't faced each other in the playoffs or recently, so that'll be fun to watch. Next up, I want to see G2 versus SKT.
Oh really? I wanted to see TSM versus G2.
I kind of want to say that too, but I want TSM versus HQ.
HQ. Oh, I wanted HQ to face SKT again.
They could do that in
but
the
then
quarters.
but then in like my predictions, if that happens, then Cloud9 would face EDG. I'm just like, oh, maybe not.
Oh, that'd be interesting to watch. Cloud9 versus EDG, but I don't have Cloud9 second. I have Flash Wolves versus EDG if
Flash
that
Wolves,
does
all right.
happen.
You're still going with the Flash Wolves Korea Slayers because LMS technically has been the Korea Slayers in the past. Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
funny.
Bane of
All right.
Korea.
So in 5 days, we'll get to see these games go off. The first games are G2 versus COG, Rocks versus Albus Nux, SKT versus C9. That's or actually okay. We'll go by day one. So day one, G2 COG, Rocks and Albus Nux, and then we have H2K and HQ, and then INTZ upsetting EDG first day. And then we also have Samsung Galaxy being upset by Splice and TSM stomping RNG into the ground.
Wow,
And then
those
D
bold predictions over there.
and then for I'm just gonna say day two for Group B, we have C9 bodying SKT, and then Flash Wolves beating IMA. That's what I'm calling.
Oh man, so many upsets. You want to be the
Will it
crumbs?
will it okay? Another thing. Will it be another 0-10? Will there be another 0-10 week for a region? Because NA gave it to us last year, not like this.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Well,
I
unless you
think
count wildcard, but wait, they can't even get 0-10.
yeah.
Never mind.
I think, in my opinion, this is the closest worlds we've ever had so far, and I'm excited to watch in 5 days. Are you excited, Min?
Excited to watch live. Kappa.
Can we watch it live?
It's in the U.S.
Yeah, but it is California, so 3 hours later, because they're in San Francisco for group stage.
I don't know. I don't even know my own schedule right now. Uh,
I think the later the better, at least for me. My days are so long right now. Do you want to know?
19:30. So that's 7:30.
Yeah,
Damn it, no. That's been my scrims times. God damn it.
just have it in the background. Who needs comms? Do we want to know? Do you want to talk about the on-air team, the broadcast team? Nah, we'll leave it.
That that's
It-
that's a huge list.
It's just the classic suspects minus any Korean casters.
Mainly because Doa and Monty are not done with league, it seems.
Yeah. Also, Doa has a wedding, his wedding, and Monty wasn't invited to the party.
Oh, that
All
that
right.
Monty story is another whole Shazam that I don't want to get into.
All right. All right. We have other league news surprising to hear, so I want to talk about that before our time is done here. Um, so since last week, a new champion has been revealed, and he goes by the name Ivern, the Green Father. What do you think, Ivern? What do you think about Ivern, Min?
He's the most pedo champion I've ever seen. Well, other than that, the brush mechanic might be a resurgence to Rengar, maybe. Because I'm just trying to think. You have a moving Rengar leap right there, aside from his ult. That could be really scary. Has numbers come out for him yet, or
I think so. Maybe in the
PB?
yeah
Oh yeah,
PBE.
there's numbers. Yeah, there's numbers. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of numbers.
I just wanna look at his mechanics, just because all of his moves are like just like really interesting
His
to see.
passive is really weird.
His passive is what defines him as a jungler, and I think it's really interesting to see. I think his counter jungling potential is really good. If you're like a great jungler, you can fully like just use that. Just like go into the jungle and then set your passive and then walk out. And then if they don't get it by the time, uh you get the extra bonuses from that. What is interesting though is that with his passive, you can easily counter jungle because I think smite, if you smite any of the jungle camps that are in Friend of the Forest, which is the passive name, then you instantly send the monster to safety. So like you put the grove down, right, and then you smite instantly. Then that's like there's no way for the other jungler to contest because you're gonna win the smite war because of his passive. So like you can smite it at full health and it'll go to you. Another thing about his passive is that after level 5, so I guess before ults happen, um, which I guess is like a really good place to put it because of the time in the game. But basically, after level 5, Ivern creates copies of the red and blue buff, so that basically there's 2 blue buffs or 2 red buffs on your team.
See, this is why I wouldn't be surprised if it might be a support either. Because that mechanic is really useful as a support too. You can give a red buff to an ADC and a jungler at the same time. Especially if a Graves is still in the meta during that time. Oh man.
The only thing I don't with support, you can't really leash with with Ivern because you're gonna take it and not the jungler. But depending on the jungler or the sports playstyle, the support can definitely just go in and uh, invade while your ADC's in the bot lane. At the same time, you can also just get a blue buff for yourself as well, if you as long as you're level 5, and give it to someone else on the team. Just having like extra cooldown would be good for support as well. So I can see where you're going with that. And a lot of his kit is very utility based. So moving on to his Q, so he fires a Q, it's a projectile, and it locks on, or not locks on, but like when you hit an enemy with it, it roots them. But another interesting thing is that Ivern and allies who use a basic attack on the rooted target will automatically dash to get within range. So an ADC can aim a basic attack on the rooted person, and then they'll dash to get within range. So they'll get a free auto attack in. So I think that's another reason why people think Ivern can be a good support as well. Moving on into the root collar, that's just his brush. There's just a lot of cool mechanics with the brush. You can even hide Baron or Dragon, which I think was really cool. E is a shield. It sort of works the same way of like Lulu's shield. But at the same time, there's after a short delay, the seed explodes, damaging and slowing all nearby enemies, so you can help peel people off. And then lastly, R, basically a giant blue buff comes out, and it has a 3 attack proc that knocks up anyone in a line, and it just does a lot of damage, or a lot of consistent damage just from like how much it's auto attacking.
More pet mechanics is always needed.
Yep. And from what I've seen of videos already in the PvE, apparently, if Daisy lasts, or that's the ult name, if Daisy lasts until the very end, because it lasts for so long and the cooldown is not that long, you can actually, I think it's 10 seconds in between uses. So if you're running like 40% CDR, you have Daisy up basically whenever you want.
Basically, Ana, a long time ago.
Yep. Well, that's it for Ivern. We'll get to see him not at Worlds, but there may be. Oh, we'll get to see at least pros try them out in streams. It's gonna be a while till we see Ivern in competitive play, and not just because he's not a bad champ or he's not a good champion. It's just also just how patches are set up in this time period. We're gonna wrap up soon, but last but not least, I just have a quick note here for a blog post that Riot released, and that blog post is titled "LOL Esports Now and in the Future." So do you remember all that drama back then between the team owners and League, and that whole thing with Tryndamere just posting and a lot of backlash coming out?
Yeah.
So there's actually a response now with that. I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen this, Min?
No.
All right. So into just like a preface for their, I guess, their esports plan, and basically they said they had a 3-step path as going with fandom, economics, and stability. So fandom, they already have that. That's everyone playing League, everyone enjoying esports, right? Economics, that's with media and sponsorships, merchandise sales, as well as in-game content sales. So that's the money behind League. And stability is basically creating a long-term plan to make this so that it's operational, and it works legally and financially, right? Now, LOL Esports in 2017, the next year, there's a lot of good news for pro players and for just people in the scene in general. I can just read out their changes. So from now on, 25% of revenue from each year's championship skin and championship award will be added to the world's prize pool. So that means every purchase of Championship Z, which is the current championship skin, will directly increase the prize pool for Worlds this year. So Worlds 2016. And they gave like a number for context. If this happened last year, then it would have more than doubled the prize pool. So that's a lot more crowdfunding for Worlds. And I think they're doing it in a good direction of, we already have the championship skins that people like every single year. And so then doing so, they just implemented this in a smart way, at least from what I'm seeing. Next, Challenger skin. Similarly, going forward, 25% of revenue from each year's Challenger skin will be added to the MSI prize pool. So they're not only doing crowdfunding for increasing the prize pool for Worlds, but also MSI. So that's moving into the direction of they want to make Worlds and MSI the two big international competitions. And then they're doing a really cool thing as well, where beginning with the winning team from this year's Worlds, they're going to be sharing 25% of the revenue earned on skin sales of each set of Team Championship skins directly with the players who inspired them. So that's like the first point, directly with the players who inspired them, as well as their team and league. So I like it. I like how it's players first and then teams and league. So that helps with just player situation in general. And also they'll be sharing revenue from past Team Championship skins as well. So that's Fnatic, TPA, SKT, Samsung, White, and SKT. So SKT may have a bit of an edge because they have double the revenue coming in from those two sets of skins, but we'll see. And last but not least, they're introducing some new revenue sharing options, such as team branded in-game items and esports promotional items, as well as the revenue sharing on summoner icons as well. And the philosophy behind this is that they just feel that there's a lot of potential for committed teams and building strong brands. So not just people buying out spots and getting into LCS, but like people getting into LCS and building their brand onward as well. So coming from all the way from Scar's end of view or Reggie, all the way to now, I think this is a good change in the future of esports and will make the whole scene a lot more stable and give more to the players as well.
Yeah, I like these changes a lot. It's going in the right steps.
It's just a lot of exciting news, and I think this will also just work with the longevity of esports, if not LOL esports in general. And I think that does it for today with such a giant league-filled episode. Harris could not join us today because he is still getting his beauty rest. That's also because me and Min were the only ones who woke up early today. Like I've said in previous episodes, you can find us on youtube.com/TripleQ podcast if you're watching this live. If you're watching the recording, then you've already found us. And congratulations to you. Thank you for watching this week. Subscribe to catch next week's episode. If you want to watch this live, you can find that at twitch.tv/bluewing54. We try a schedule of 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and those are our two streaming days. I am Alan, your host, and we have Min this week as well. Any last words for the audience, Min?
Thank you guys for watching for another episode, and hopefully next week we have Harris with us. And other than that, I'll see you guys later then.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.